We are live today with WendyY Bailey. Now, don't forget the Y because that's what gives her distinction. She's a lady of distinction. You're going to learn about her today on the Instant Celebrity Maker. And Wendy is known very well as the Income Acceleration Mentor. Income Acceleration Mentor. That is who she is branded, and it is WendyY Bailey. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mitch. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, tell us a little bit about not only the WendyY, which gives you distinction, is cool.
Yeah.
I love the story there, but the Income Acceleration Mentor and what that entails.
So let me start by telling you I'm a 19-year veteran. I've been in this business as a full-time entrepreneur and coach for more than 19 years. And I'm a business and sales coach, and I support primarily other coaches and people who are what I call transformation experts. So if they're in the business of helping people change their lives, their health, their wellness, their business, their careers, then they are a transformation expert in my eyes. And, you know, the whole idea of Income Acceleration Mentor came about because I piloted a program back in, I want to say it was like 2013. I wanted it to be a group program, but I wanted to pilot it to see if it worked. And I tested it out as an individual coaching program with 3 clients, and they doubled and tripled and quadrupled their income. So it became clear to me that I wasn't just good at business and sales. I helped them accelerate their income. So that's where that moniker comes from, because I'm a beast at it. I tell you, I help my clients, and I'm one of my clients calls me pleasant to work with. So I'm a beast, but I don't hit them over the head with, you know, whatever the tactics and techniques are. I like for people to show up in their own authentic space when it comes to business and sales and marketing. And I've really mastered through the coach training I've had and through the neurolinguistic programming certification I hold and other designations. I've really mastered how to coach people to achieve their big goals and dreams. And I just love being able to do that.
And go ahead. You're a pleasant beast?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a beast.
I thought I heard that correctly.
You called me an alpha female, you know, before we went live, but I got to tell you, I'm a beast. Like, I'm really, really good at what I do in terms of that whole income acceleration for my clients. And it serves me well to say I'm a beast, because I work with my clients and I can move them through whatever they need to increase their income. That's huge for coaching in particular.
Okay. How would your friends describe you? I hope they don't call you a pleasant beast.
No, they don't call me a pleasant beast. They call me very outgoing. They call me beautiful. They call me friendly. They call me funny and witty and wise and fierce. Yeah, my friends, the people that I really and truly call my friends and know are my friends, are just 3 people. And so I know exactly what they call me. Yeah. I know
exactly. I tend to have a good skill set, being a person who's interviewed literally probably over 4,000 people from my radio show days, TV show days, and now podcasting and what I have done for training. And the one word that comes to mind, I usually give people a 1-word statement. Is how I assess them very quickly. And it's feeling based in what people say. I'm going to label you as the sage.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah. So I would say that for your clients is just, you have a sense of being in control, very level, probably don't lose your cool easily, but when you do, watch out. And
you hit the nail on the head with that one. I tell you, yeah.
I would say watch out.
Not often, but when I do, look out.
Yeah, I get that. But you're certainly are on purpose, and someone that would be there to grab someone's back and to watch their back, but your wisdom, it just exudes from your persona, is what I would say.
Thank you so much. And I'm fiercely loyal as well, Mitch.
Thank you. What is your greatest accomplishment, Wendy? Why?
My greatest accomplishment has to be my 31-year-old son. I raised him as a single mom. And as a single mom, I learned when he was at age 4 that he had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So there was
Hmm.
a real emotional component to his disorder. And so I had to parent differently. That meant I had to be calm and be the sage and, help him learn techniques that would calm him emotionally so that he could move forward and learn as a little boy. And as he grew older, he adopted a lot of that for himself, and today we're really really close. Like he's my greatest accomplishment and my biggest why at the same time. I'm in business the way that I am because I always want to set a really great example for him. And he's certified as a life coach as well. He doesn't use it in like a practice term, but he is very much employing the skills that he learned as a life coach to do what he does today. He's a manager of a retail store. He's my greatest accomplishment, Mitch. He really, really is.
Okay. Well, that's great to hear. And what do you wish you had known when you started out this 19-year journey?
I think the biggest thing that I wish I had known was relationships are everything. Relationships are everything. And in 19 years, I can honestly say, regrettably, that I have burned some bridges. Okay. And what I've learned from the experience of burning bridges and really focusing on that as an asset, really, relationships are everything. It's made a difference in how my business has grown, how my business is positioned, how I show up for people, how people interact with me. Relationships are everything, Mitch. I wish I
Okay.
had known early on because it would have made a difference in my business.
Do you know that is so true? And I could talk about that at depth. And that, at
Yeah.
my age now, at 61, I look back on some of my own shortcomings. I'll just call it. Let's say when I was 30 and arrogant, and it's taken a while to get the gray hair to come in, and we realize, yes, you're absolutely spot on with that. So
Mhm.
I would agree. So tell us, what are you curious about right now?
Well, right now I'm curious about. I'm sort of fearless about innovation and technology, and I'm really curious right now about what having an app for one of my brands would do for my brand. I've been in talks with developers. I've been in communication with people who have built a platform for you to build your own app. And so I'm really curious about that. So in my mind, I'm kind of designing the app and kind of seeing what it'll look like. And I'm starting to put some stuff on paper. And so I'm really curious about how that's going to change the landscape of my business.
Okay. And here's an interesting question. I always ask it, and I eagerly, anxiously await the answer. What's something you failed at?
Hmm. Well, there's not much. I'm kidding when I say that.
Of
But I
course you
think,
are.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think something I failed at, it kind of goes back to what I said about relationships. There are relationships that I would love to be able to go back and you know, extend an olive branch and sort of regain and reconnect with people. And so I feel like I failed enough at that, even though it's only, a handful of times that I feel like I failed at that. But I failed at it enough that I'd like to go back and address it. I'd like to do something around it. And the truth is, sometimes there is no second chance. So you kind of have to live with whatever falls out from that kind of experience. And again, I
I
failed at it.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I failed at it. I know I failed at it, a few times. And as much as I may not be able to go back, it's great to be able to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? And move forward to make sure my current and future relationships are really favorable.
I want to tell you, because of what you just shared with me, I just made a
Mhm.
note of 2 people that I burned bridges with. I need to go back and fix it.
Very
Because
cool.
because sometimes you just don't know where you have epiphanies
Yeah.
and revelations that come up. Because of what you just said, I realized there's somebody who I just said, oh, the heck with him, had stronger language associated with it
Yeah.
in the past. However, it's hurt me. And sometimes you just don't know how much until it's too late.
Yeah.
And
For
I
sure.
don't expect to get any business or do anything. There's no financial gain, but I
Yep.
need to clear off my own conscience because of that.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Very
it's
good.
good. All right, now my favorite question. Very good. This is my favorite question because I'm a bit of a history buff. If you
Okay.
could have coffee with any historical figure, and they are no longer with us, that's the caveat. They are no longer with us, Wendy. Who would you have this coffee or tea with?
Um, One person that comes to mind for me is Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
I think she had such a fierce approach and
Oh, yes.
dedication to what she was doing to the work at hand. She was fiercely loyal, like I described that I am as well. And I don't know if you saw the movie, the recent movie Harriet Tubman, but there
No, I
was
did
a
not.
point in the movie where she walked into an office where in a new city that she had escaped to, and there was a man there, and she was talking about what she wanted to do to free the slaves through the Underground Railroad. And when he started asking her questions, what she answered were responses that sounded like unrealistic. So he actually made a note on his paper that she might have hit her head. I thought that was hilarious because you know what I mean. It's like surely she's hit her head somewhere. That's why she's answering these questions these way. And I would love to sort of pick her brain and find out why she was so determined and what gave her strength through that process to do all the work that she did and have the
I,
courage along the way.
I bet her actions set the stage for the actions taken by Rosa Parks.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. It's funny because she was the first one that came to mind. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to go beyond Rosa Parks. And that's when Harriet Tubman came to mind for me. But
Okay.
watch the movie, Mitch. Go see
I
the
will.
movie because it's delightful. It's a
I will.
delightful movie.
I will
Yeah.
look at that. Okay. So now let's go a little bit more current. Who's been your most important professional mentor? And this person can be with us today or past, depending on who it
Okay.
is.
Okay. I think my personal mentor, and I'm going to call him a digital mentor. We've called each other cousins for years, and we only had the opportunity to meet face to face when he appeared on my web TV show and audio podcast, Simon T. Bailey. We've got the same last name. We've called each other cousins for years, and I love the way that he just kind of shows up in the space. He's witty, he's funny, he's deeply knowledgeable, and he just shares nuggets whenever he opens his mouth.
Not heard of him, but I'll look him up after the show. Okay,
Yeah.
Simon T. Bailey. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, then that's good. Now, here's a fun one. Let's go back to an 18-year-old Wendy Y, who, before she added the Y in there, if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would you tell her, the younger you? And this could be
Uh,
personal or business.
yeah, I think it's more personal, and that is to take time and um, appreciate the memories that I'm making, appreciate the time that I have with people, appreciate the experiences that I'm creating, and create more memories, more adventures that I can hold on to. And another part of that, I think for me, would be don't take everything personally because at 17, 18 years old, everything was personal to me. I would cry at the drop of a hat. I would, everything just hurt my feelings. So I think not taking everything personally and then savoring the adventures and creating more would be the other part of that.
Okay, makes sense. And you're a lady with goals. Clearly, you're talking about your app and you're looking forward. And you know what the sign of old age is when people focus on what happened versus what will happen.
Hmm.
So I'm going to ask this question is, what is your plan to achieve your upcoming goals?
Well, I'm already sort of in the midst of my planning. I just onboarded a new operations manager on my team. We are together identifying other team members to handle some of the activities that I need to get off my plate.
Okay.
I recently let go of my online business manager and her team, so it's a new attitude I have about having a team, and so I'm excited about it because there's a plan already in motion.
Okay, great. And I'm very curious because of who you are. When you have a challenge from life, how do you overcome it? I mean, being a single mom, that was one challenge.
I
But
have
that goes back a
many.
while.
Yeah, I have
And
many.
what's that?
I said I have many challenges that
All
I've
right. Well,
overcome.
let's
Yeah.
hear your top.
Well, the way that I look at challenges are they're really opportunities, because every challenge that comes my way, and I didn't know this even as recently as 5 years ago. Okay, but every challenge is an opportunity for me to grow and learn. So
Okay.
it's not whatever the challenge is, and this is where the not taking it personal comes in. It's not what the challenge is; it's how I respond to it that makes the difference. So when I'm faced with a challenge, I go, okay, how do I address this in a way that helps me to grow? And a lot of times, just asking myself that question paves the way for me to get rid of the challenge, to move through the challenge, to look at the challenge a different way, to fix it if it's something that really and truly is a problem. So
Okay.
response is everything.
All right. Now, most people, I don't know if you've written a book, but if you had to write a book tomorrow, what would Wendy Y write about?
I think it would be more of a memoir than a business book. I have two books I've already written, business books, and I have ideas for like four more already. But I think it would be a personal memoir type book, and I would talk about the importance of relationships and talk about some of the people that I have crossed their paths over the years, and what I learned from them and what I appreciated about them, and how it's helped me to grow as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a coach. So that's what I think I would write a book about.
Okay. And what's one question you wish I'd asked? Now's your opportunity for me to ask you that question, and then you can answer it.
Wow. What question? What question? I want you to ask me what's the best business advice I've ever received. I think that would be a great response.
Wendy, what's the best business advice you've ever received?
Yeah. I really think it's to read more, because when I talk about adventures like I did a minute ago, some of those adventures for me come from reading. Some of the adventures come from being a big movie buff. I like movies, I like certain TV shows and things like
Mhm.
that. I'm a big pop culture person, but reading to me actually sort of shapes all of that. I'm not like a, I don't want to say victim, but I don't have to be subjected to opinions without understanding some of the facts behind things, because I read. Because I
Okay. No,
read.
I'm an avid reader myself, and
Yeah,
it is a great discipline because you
yeah,
have to be smarter than your clients
yeah,
to be perceived
absolutely.
as a sage or a be. Well, I don't want to say smarter. You've got to stay in
Well,
step with them, or
you do. You do. And let me say this, the way that I read a book is probably different than the way most people read their books. I open the book, and I have one here. I open the book, and I look at the table of contents. I read the introduction, and then I skim through the juicy parts of the book. And if I miss something, I go back and I read it. But that's to me helped me to speed read, three or four books at the same time. So
oh, that's an interesting strategy. I mean, book summaries is another. You can get the
it's not
synopsis.
the same. It's not the same.
No, it's not, but
Yeah,
it's another version. It's like getting the cliff notes when you're in college.
sure,
It gives you, at least it gives you something of a feel of it, and then you can decide to go back and read the whole version if you want. You obviously can't
sure.
do that with novels. Okay. And how do you promote the Wendy Y Bailey brand and your company?
Well, I have several things that I do. I have the web TV show and audio podcast is one way. I feature guests, and I have solo episodes where I actually am sharing content and teaching and coaching. That's one way. I also am very selective about the social media platforms that I'm on. I go live on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. I also actually post content specifically for my most ideal client on most of the platforms that I'm on as well. I've written two books. I told you before, two best-selling books. I also do
On
some.
Amazon, were these
They're both
published?
on Amazon.
They're
They're
both
both
okay.
on Amazon. Yeah. I charge
Okay.
for that. Mastering the Mindset for Sales Success is the second one. The first
Okay.
one was Business Beyond Limits, 7 Powerful Practices for Creating a Highly Profitable Business. That's the
Okay.
first one I wrote. And so I've done a lot of things in 19 and a half years, but I got to tell you, before 5.5 years ago, yeah, before 5.5 years ago, I hadn't done any of those things that I described other than posting on social media, right? 5.5 years later is when I started, like ago, is when I started actually doing some very strategic promoting of my personal brand and my business brand. I've always promoted, but it's just been very intentional over the last 5.5 years, more than ever
How
in my
about
business.
traditional platforms like TV, radio, newspapers, magazines?
I've done that. I've done that. I had a blog talk radio show um, for years. I had like four or five, in fact, at one point in time. I've had my own TV show where I worked with a client who needed, the leadership team needed coaching. And so I negotiated that instead of paying me, they produced a TV show for me. So I had a TV show. I'm trying to think what else I've had. I've done a lot in 19 years, Mitch. I
Okay.
really have.
Well, with
Yeah.
the TV show, was this through cable? Was it a cable network or was
It was
okay?
a cable network. Yeah,
Cable
it was
network.
a
Okay.
cable access network. Let me
Cable
be
access.
clear. So it was a local cable access network in Atlanta.
Got it. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm not surprised you've done that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can chat further about that. So how can I support you? What is the name of your podcast, by the way?
It's called Profitable Coaching Conversations.
Profitable.
Profitable Coaching Conversations.
Uh-huh.
It's actually my newest flagship brand, and I have a couple of other things there. I'm working on launching an online course by the end of the year. The web TV show and audio podcast are already live. I have a society that's called the Profitable Coaching Society. I have a club on Clubhouse that's called the Profitable Coaching Club. And my third book has been reviewed, even though I haven't published it. It's the ultimate guide to profitable coaching conversations. So there's this whole brand associated with it. And the app is going to be part of that.
Great. I make a great guest, by the way. I'm shameless about promoting myself.
Not a problem. I was thinking about you for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I teach people how to be good guests. Obviously, you
Yeah.
don't need that coaching. You know your own deal. Okay, so this is how people can get in touch with you. Businessbeyondlimits.com for people who are audio only. Businessbeyondlimits.com. I don't think we have any special spelling there to explain. And I'm curious because you're a pro. You've been at this a while. What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
Well, you're very conversational. I think the key to having a good interview is making it a conversation. So that's got to be the best thing that I've experienced. I don't have any bad things to say about you. You're a pro. You're great. You
Thank
make
you.
you make your guests feel warm and welcoming. It's a good experience. I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
And I've accused you of being a sage,
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll take it. I'm 58 years young. I love being a sage at 58.
I get it.
Most people say that about 90-year-olds. So 58 and a sage, yes.
You got it. All right. Wear it if it applies. You can try it on, and if it works, keep it on. So what would you say is your final word for the viewers/listeners? Because this will be syndicated after the live component.
Sure. The thing that I would say, and it's that same theme of relationships are everything. Make sure that when you meet someone, you really do make a connection. It's not just sort of a deliberate kind of let me network with this person because of what they can do for me. Make a connection. Invest in the conversation, the relationship, building rapport, and you're going to see the benefits just come full circle in such a large way. Big time.
Okay. Well, Wendy, you've been great. Thank you for attending the show, and you've added a lot of value, and I've taken good notes. You're the pleasant beast. I'm going to look up Simon T. Bailey and understanding how relationships would maintaining and developing and grooming relationships and nurturing relationships would have made a big difference in your life. And I can look back with 2020 hindsight and wholeheartedly agree. And those are the key takeaways I took from your contribution today. And I say thank you. And on behalf of some of the viewers that will comment in the future, guaranteed. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, WendyY.
WendyY. I know why I have to say WendyY.
Yes.
As I explain that. Thank you so much.